Trigger warning. The following podcast contains content that may be deeply disturbing. You will hear first-hand accounts from parents and family members who have lost children to filicide, the murder of a child by a parent or caregiver. These stories are raw, emotional, and shared from the perspective of those who have lived them. They include details of unimaginable loss, system failures, and trauma. Please take care while listening. If at any point you need to pause, stop, or step away, we understand. Welcome to Voices Against Filicide. I'm your host, Hope Hooton, a mother who has walked this journey and an advocate turning my pain into purpose. This podcast sheds light into filicide cases, statistics, who these children were, advocacy, and so much more. Together, we speak the truth, honor their lives, and fight for change. Before we go any further, I want to take a moment and honor two of the brightest lights I've ever known. My children, Alec and Lydia. Alec with his love for Pokemon, and Lydia with her kind heart and bright blue eyes. They were my whole world. They were joy in human form. Their laughter, their hugs, their imaginations, all of it lives on in me, in this podcast, and in the work I do every day to protect children and raise awareness. This podcast is for them. It's for every child whose voice was silenced too soon. Alec and Lydia, you are my why, and I will never stop fighting in your name. Thank you for joining me today, and let's get right into today's episode. Today, I am joined by Kitty Mayo, the Georgia Protective Parents organizer, and I am so excited for our conversation today. Welcome, Kitty, to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining me. So first, I guess I want to start off with what got you into doing the Georgia Protective Parents organization? Like, how did you get there?
It all started when my two stepsons were sent to a reunification camp. We went through a brutal, very abusive court system. Matter of fact, our judge is being investigated as we speak for the damage she did to our family and to others. So there's a long list of other families involved with her. So through that process, they were sent to a reunification camp. And what that was is because at the time they had not seen their biological mother in about at least 7 years due to them coming forward about reported abuse that they, reported about her to several from special victims unit, DFACs. They had forensic interviews, the whole bit. And so it went from it went from a criminal case to a custody case. And that's one of the problems that family court system sees is that the intersectionality of criminal and custody. I'm like, they shouldn't be intersecting, but here we are. And so that happened in our case, like so many other cases. And so they were sent to a reunification camp according to the judge, to get another chance to bond with this person that they did not want to. All of our experts testified and begged the judge to not even allow them to have a relationship with her at all. The judge threw those experts out of the courtroom, literally, and dismissed it all and just had her mind made up. and sent them to a reunification camp called Family Bridges. But that experience was so horrific for them, for us. We weren't allowed through that whole process to see the oldest child or communicate for a year until he turned 18. And then on his 18th birthday, 1 minute after he turned 18, he was back home. And then the youngest did the same thing, and he came home and said that he, and I quote, he said he left his captivity. We weren't able to see the oldest child or have communication for a year, and the youngest child, it was 3 years. And so that's what this program does all through the U.S. This is not a Georgia issue. I'm just a Georgia voice. But this is absolutely, it is worldwide. However, the reunification camps aren't necessarily worldwide, as bad as they are in the United States. They're based in Canada. The program is based in Canada, and then they come here to the U.S. and they operate like international waters. And so even though these states are banning these camps, they still have, the children can still be sent to that state. For instance, California was one of the first states to do away with any judge ordering their children to one of these programs. However, our children were sent to California from Georgia. Mm. And so these programs set up shop in Airbnbs and in hotels, and they are, it's a commerce issue that is going across state lines for the safety of our children, because each state therefore loses jurisdiction, and that means accountability, transparency. There's no data. Mm-hmm. So whenever a senator has asked me, "Oh, do you have any data?" I'm like, no, I'd love to though.
Yeah,
and because we can't get it, because they are operating.
Yeah. Can you explain to my audience, like, what goes on in these camps? What is the purpose of them? Even though a lot of states are banning them, which is great.
Yeah.
What was the underlying purpose of them being started in the first place?
Great question. Thanks for asking that to keep me on track. Sometimes I need a leash, so I appreciate that. Their reasons are that the child has lost, the child is fearful of a parent that these camps believe are not abusive despite all the evidence. So they throw out the evidence and they'll say that, oh, it's false memories, and so the child deserves to have a relationship with their abuser. That's our children, is what they those came forward about that. Yeah. That's what our children said.
Yes.
So these camps, that's what and it's very lucrative. This is a for-profit underbelly industry. It cost, the judge asked my husband in the courtroom, "How much money do you make?" in front of the whole courtroom. And then she asked the biological mother, "How much money do you and your husband make?" Because she wanted to see if we could afford this torturous program, because only a certain threshold of people and financial will be set to make their children can go to these programs, because we had to pay. So my husband was forced to pay, court ordered to pay $100,000.
Wow.
For 1 week, for this 1 week of camp. And when I say the word camp, it is not what you and I think we grew up in
camp.
Going in
summer camp.
Yeah,
it's not that.
No.
Okay.
No, it's not fun. It is a week of these children watching propaganda and being told that their abuse never happened. And they're saying, nope, it's all in your head. It was put there. It never happened. And so it rewires a child's brain. I call it MK Ultra for children. Mm-hmm. And because that's exactly what it is. Yeah. It's programming a child to say, oh, I've been wrong this whole time. That abuse never happened to me. And so our children, especially the oldest especially, they all have different stories, but the oldest testified before the Senate and the House, and basically he said the same thing. I mean, he has stayed with his story of the abuse and everything, and he stuck with it because he told them, he goes, I'm 17 years old. I know what happened to my body.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that.
Yeah.
And so, but these other children that are sent to these programs, they can be reshaped.
Yeah.
I mean, think about if an 8-year-old went. I mean, it's horrific. And so I did leave off that when the children are initially sent, it is with a lot of coercion and a lot of threats. Our two were told that the transport agents that pick them up from the court, they transport agents, there's 4 of them, and they told the boys, they said, well, we have the authority to zip tie you and to tase you if you don't cooperate. What? So you can make this easy or you can make it hard.
Oh my goodness. It's like prison. Like tasing sound.
It's trafficking. It's trafficking. It's trafficking. All the way.
Oh my gosh. Tasing a child. Like what?
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Oh.
And we're not mad enough. None of us are mad enough because this is happening. Only 8 states have passed this. This is ridiculous. This is a federal issue. And only 8 states have passed this to get this out of their state. And because until all 50 states, then they can continue, until all 50 states ban it completely, then they can continue to just be the international waters that they continue to act like they are with no accountability and no regulation. Oh my gosh. One of the doctors that was in the group that talked to our children for that week during the propaganda and all that, he had lost his license. He had his license stripped from him. By Kamala Harris when she was Attorney General in California. And his name was Randy Rand. But they operate like they came to Georgia from Canada and set up shop in an Airbnb in Georgia for 2 children recently that were involved in a Hague case.
Oh my gosh. So this is just continuing, like every day. Like we're talking right now and there are kids in these camps right now as we're speaking.
I mean, and the problem is that the judges are onto the scheme. Well, excuse me, the compromised judges are onto the scheme. And guardians, the compromise, not all of them, but there's some bad players in there. And the bad players are onto it. And so what they will do is the judge will make sure that the records are sealed and that the parties are gagged. And that's why everybody is frozen from talking about these issues because no one knows. Well, that's why we don't know about them.
Because they're
that's
sealed.
Intentional.
Yes.
It's intentional. And so they sealed ours when we were going through it. And when we got out of the system, when the youngest aged out in May, we made dang sure we fought to make sure our records were unsealed because we have nothing to hide. Also, we had to fight like mad to get our constitutional rights to speak. So I'm a stepmother. And, a lot of people need to kind of know that going in. I mean, sometimes I make some people uncomfortable because I am a stepmom. Because, I mean, I get it. I can understand. But what happens is with the gag order is so the judge attempted to put me under a gag order. I'm not a party. I'm a step parent. I was never a party to the case. A judge can't just all willy-nilly gag people in the courtroom because they feel like it. That's not how our Constitution is set up, and of course isn't. But our judge did that. And so we had to pay, at least $150,000 just to get my appeal. And I won. We appealed it and I won. And then the Supreme Court of Georgia wrote 3 pages about me, basically telling the judge, you're on thin ice. you cannot do this. This is not allowed in Georgia. Well, not allowed anywhere.
Yeah, anyway.
So it's, yeah. So I was kind of doing a little Googling the other day, and it's interesting now because it's being used in other cases. That's not considered case law, but it is considered a consideration.
Yeah,
should I say.
Yeah, exactly.
When the children are threatened with the coercive control from the judicial system and these camps, mostly the camps, they're told, if you don't attempt to participate, if you don't try to bond with this person, if you don't hug them, if you don't smile for a picture, if you don't do any of these things, we also have the authority to put you in the foster care system or to put you in a wilderness camp where you won't have either one of your parents. This just makes, I know.
This makes me so angry, but also super sad when you're like, kids should not be treated like this. Like, nobody should be treated like this. But like,
no,
these are not okay, and it's not okay that only 8 states have passed laws to ban that these camps. We need to continue. Can we? I know with my laws that, you know, every law, I understand that you have to go state by state, but is there a threshold that you could just then, if so many states make this a law, can you take it and make it a federal law instead of going state by state?
Wouldn't that be nice? Well, Caden's law is out there, but unfortunately, each state still has to do their own. I think we need to do another form of this in federal law because the fact that it is, the way that it just operates like international waters, we need to look at this in another way. And I'm in the discussion with some people on that.
Good.
Yeah. But it has to be taken a little bit more seriously. And those things kind of came to our understanding during this legislative session. I was like, this is a bigger problem than we thought.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about the laws that you tried to pass in Georgia this year and how that transpired? And I guess moving forward, what are you going to do?
Right. Well, what we have attempted to do for, let's see, the first year we tried was 2023. That was my first year writing legislation, and I didn't know what I was doing, and it went over like a lead balloon. So I was clueless. By year 2, I had figured a lot of things out. And I wrote, with a help of a really good legislative attorney, a good bill for Georgia. And it was very specific. And so it did really well. It flew through the House. It went through the Senate. It went through the House twice, the Senate once. It was unanimous. But because it got caught up in some nasty language, thanks to the divorce attorneys in Georgia, who benefit off these practices, they didn't want the bill to go through because it's their pipeline.
Yeah.
It's the troubled teen, disgusting, abusive pipeline. And this operates off the backs of our children, and it is not a concern at all. When a person starts talking about a parental rights over a child's rights, that's always a red flag.
Yes.
And it's because the protective parent is going to be, I want my child to have their rights. They're going to be less concerned about themselves. And so it takes away a child's autonomy. The child that I recently interviewed that came home from the program, the Hague case that I was telling you about, she said that they told her, you can't have your own thoughts. You're a child. This is what's happening to you. They told her, this is what you're supposed to believe. It didn't work on her at all.
Yeah.
She saw through all of it. And it's just, it's sad. And then, I'm a former children's pastor, and I'm also a former women's minister. My dad was a pastor. So a lot of the ways I navigate in all of this is kind of pastoral.
Yeah.
And my heart broke when I talked to her about it. And she even said that they tried to kind of weave in the Bible and say, but you're supposed to forgive. And I'm like, okay.
No, they take it out of context.
Oh, okay, this is where I'm getting off the bench. This is where I got real fired up because I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. We're not going to weaponize the Bible. That is not, no, 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 no. And so I got to have a little talk with her offline about this is what they are trying to do. And it's a form of manipulation that cults have been doing for years.
Yeah.
And that Christianity has been doing for years. I mean, that's what they did with the slave Bible. They're like, this is what you're supposed to believe.
Yeah.
And make sure you know your place. And this is what God's will is for you. No, it's not.
No.
No, it's not. And so that's what they are, same thing,
Yeah.
is kind of the same, is using this to manipulate the children to stay in line and to do what they want them to do.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. I mean, abusers use the Bible, it's spiritual abuse. They use the Bible against, I mean, I can say that in my own case, he used the Bible, not to comfort and help me, but to use it, to control me. And
it's a weaponizing.
He weaponized it, right? And so, the abusers take the verses out of context. They love to use the verse, the women shall submit to their husbands. It doesn't just say that. You got to read the whole passage there.
No, Bucky. No. Yeah, and it's very abusive how they do it. And it's like, but they forget all the things that Christ came to free.
Correct. Correct.
And the freedom that it brings. And I would say through this whole process, as angry and as frustrating and as tearful as I have been, out of the whole process, any part of this advocacy that angers me more than anything is the part that people, when they abuse Christianity in it. And I'm like, all right, now we're going to party. Now we're going to party. Yeah, because I'm like, no. It's abusive. And
so what about this year? Like, you talked about years 1 and 2. Are you on year 3? Is this your 3rd year?
We just finished year 3.
Okay, so
that was, and so what had happened is the first year it got paused on the first line, the yard line, because the lieutenant governor of Georgia decided to close down the Senate early in 25. And so he did it. He thought our bill was controversial. And so that was one of the bills that got stuck on the finish line. And that was with intention, unfortunately. And then the next session, he wouldn't allow it to be unfrozen the entire session.
Oh.
And because of all of the grassroots phone calls and that we poured into his office and said, put it on the floor, he said, okay, I'm going to put it on the floor. But the divorce attorneys got to him within a few days, and he changed his mind, and he allowed that bill to die. And it's an election year, and the divorce attorneys won. They won. And so he chose profits over our kids, unfortunately. And it's very grieving to see how any leader takes this position. It broke our hearts. I cried. My husband said, I didn't think you were ever going to stop crying. I trusted.
Yeah.
I really trusted him. I mean, even though I didn't have a relationship with him, I trusted his word that he was going to put it on the floor, and he didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't. So we have different plans for next year, but I will tell you this. All of this have brought people out of the woodworks, and my DMs and my emails are from reporters to everything are blowing up.
Get it out there. Talk about it. Like, it will change. Yeah, and that's what we're doing with the Alec and Lydia Act in Arizona, and we're still getting pushback. I mean, just like you said, like there's judges don't want it because they think that it's going to take too much time and it's too much to put in their findings in temporary orders. Well, my kids were killed in temporary orders, so I want them to be able to write their findings in temporary orders. You shouldn't go into a hearing and be like, oh, this is my decision, but I don't have to have any credibility to back it up. Like, that's not okay. So so we have some pushback, and so we'll see. We're still moving forward. We're still trying to be positive, but it's hard. Like you said, it's hard to, you want to trust these people, but at the end of the day, it's all about money and power. So
It really is, and position, and when you, and and it has the operations of a cult.
Yes.
And because, cults get, when you get out of line and you question things, that's when you get the pushback from everybody else. And so I have, I'm not probably real popular right now because I've called out, this particular leader, but I'm sorry, these are our children.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm no longer speaking for my children. They're adults. I'm speaking out for any more children that this could happen to in Georgia.
Yeah.
And, I would like to work with South Carolina because they don't have any organization. And I also know that I know the cases that have been sent to this camp and their families in South Carolina. So I know I was hoping to have Georgia done so I could really work with South Carolina, but heck, I just may work just South Carolina
and then go back to Georgia eventually
until Georgia gets their act together.
Yeah.
And so
yeah,
I don't know.
Is there anything else? So this is like your baby right now is the camps. Is there anything down the pipeline that you also want to fix in Georgia in relation to, family?
There are, and I will tell you about it offline.
Okay.
I don't, I hold my cards real closely, and it's because of, it's the attorneys. They come in and go, and they come in and just undo it all. And it's just they're in it for themselves, and it's really, really sad because there's some great attorneys out there, and then there's those that are a part of the abusive, incestuous bed that we have.
Yeah.
And it's awful.
So, Kitty, is there anything else you want to say before we wrap this episode up that you want to get out to my audience? Because I'm getting more and more people listening to the podcast every single day.
Good. I think if anybody wants to organize, they're happy to message me at Georgia Protective Parents. You can follow us on Instagram. And because each state really does need to be taking these actions because it's such a layered process for change in our court system. Like, how do I say it?
Alec and Lydia.
That, that bill has so many layers to it, and they're very protective. And if that gets through and that passes, that really does move the needle in Arizona. And there's other bills that can layer on top of it. That's what they're afraid of.
Yeah.
They don't want change and accountability. Oh, we can't have that.
No.
So that's hard. And so if other states want to look into it, I mean, there's definite commercial exploitation with these camps. And this is beyond so many constitutional issues, but this is also trafficking. And I think we need to call it what it is.
Yeah.
It's legalized trafficking. Court order.
Yes, exactly. Okay, well, thank you so much, Kitty, for joining me on this episode. And like she said, if you want to get involved, please email her. Also, if you want to find out more information, go to our website, voicesagainstfilicide.odoo.com. And also, if you liked this episode and you found it helpful, please share it and also leave a 5-star rating and review. Thank you, everyone, and see you next time.
Bye.